Okay, we're back again. What we're going to be doing now is just shifting a couple of things to make it easy. What I'd like to do is place this picture layer, or this picture, onto a certain layer. Where are we? Come on. And I'm going to put it on properties. Okay, like the other layer, and that means I can actually lock that layer now. Lock it, which will basically keep it in its position. What I'm going to do, just to get this out of my road, I'm going to go to isolate object. I'm going to say hide selection. What that will do is we'll just remove it sort of out of the equation. I can still see this, but I can't select this layer here because basically it's locked. But what I can do is start to trace over the top of this without sort of worrying about what I'm going to get onto. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is the ovals. You can see that is my default layer. And the tool I'm going to be using to do the oval, there's a few you can use. You can use a rectangle, you can use a circle, or you can use these particular circles, but it's not actually a circle, it's an oval. And with the oval tools you don't have as many available, but you need to choose one that's going to suit you. And when you look at this one, it's actually oval drawn up by the center. But for these particular things I need to get a fairly good idea on the width of them, which means I'm going to be using this particular one here, axis end. Now just getting a bit closer, move into a good position, which actually isn't because it's too big. And what I need to do with this one is I need to place points either side of the oval that I want to draw, and then you draw out the end to work to get the basic oval shape. So again, this is a bit of guesstimating with this one. So basically draw it across. You can see the arc forming, and it's a matter of pulling this out to where you think it should go. And if it's not quite off, you just might have to, just play around with it a little bit just to get it into the right shape. Now you can see it's a little bit off, and what I can do now is actually move it when I select it. Okay, I'm just going to sort of put it into the position I think it should go. And that's it. So that's one oval done. Okay, just create the other oval here, and exactly the same tool. Now remember the shortcut is if I push the space bar, it will automatically bring up the last tool I used, and again all I need to do is place it in the middle, somewhere around about there. Okay, drag it out to the area which I think it should go, and release it. Okay, and again, if it's not quite right, just pick it up and drag it. Okay, so there's my two ovals done. Okay, you can see them on the plate on the board there, because basically it is coloured via the layer. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these buildings here, and again the tool I'm going to use, because I don't want lines all over the place, I'm going to use the poly tool. Just a quick way of outlining these, and again the poly tool is here, and it's just a matter of basically making out the shape. And again, this is only an exercise in trying to use the tools, it's not to be that accurate. And again, drag it in the right direction you want it to go, and then just use the close and it will automatically close. So there's building number 1, building number 2, and where are we? Poly tool. those. Now some of these are actually still hard to see, and if you're not quite sure on what it looks like, one of the things I'd suggest is go back to that Google project and open that up just to see a little bit more detail, because the colour does help. It helps you to identify the what is the building, what is the roof. You know, you can see a little bit more detail in it. I keep forgetting that I'm in the Google Earth and I shouldn't push the center button. Again, you can see the roof there, there's a little edge there. And again, switch back. Looks about right. That's a car, so then I'll draw that in. And again, I'm only just using the poly tool just as a... Now you would notice, one of the things I haven't done is put them on the right layer. Okay? Now that's because I didn't default that layer by double clicking it and allowing that to be my current layer that everything gets placed on. So that also means that I need to go through and select all these objects that I've just put on there. Go to the properties. Okay, and at the moment they've all got oval. I'm going to just select them and go to buildings. And you should pretty much see the colour change straight away of those particular buildings. Now, again, because it's my default layer, you can see it up here as well. I'm going to just zoom in, and again, poly tool, just as a quick outline. Still hard to see, so there's a part that's pretty flat. So you could use a rectangle tool for this, but well, it's just... the other thing is you have the tennis courts to do. There's one there, there's one there. You could put a layer in for that. We've also got the paths and the driveway here and the parking. But at the moment I'm really just going to concentrate on these paths, and I just want to show you some tricks when it comes to doing these paths. Okay. You notice the paths are also straight and curved. Now one of the things I'm going to be using again is this poly tool, because it's actually got a few more functions than what you actually do realise. Now what I'm going to do is again put my base point in. I'm going to just basically go to points, and again I've actually used the wrong layer, so I'm just going to escape from that, delete too quick, and make sure that I do go to paths and roads. And again, this is a good reason why you should be labeling your layers. Again, poly tool, click. Now again, a lot of this comes from experience, actually working out where to put all this, and the only way you're going to get that experience is just by practicing. And again, I won't get it right the first time. I think I just snapped to. I did. Okay. What I did notice then is I actually did the snap to automatically. It snapped to the center point of the oval. I'm going to have to start this again, but I need to make sure that I turn off the snap to tool here. Okay, so that it doesn't do that again. Again, click. Click. I reckon we're going to have to put one there, there, okay, escape to end it. Now what you'll notice here is it will look terrible, okay. you can see when you select it, you can actually see your nodes, but what you also have here is you've got another node that you can actually do other things with. So if you go over that node and drag it, you'll find you'll pick up the whole 2 points. You can see that there? And you will shift basically everything. You don't want to do that. Okay, you can select individual points, but when you grab this, you will grab everything. Again, function undo. I'll just use the undo up over here. And what I'm going to show you is when you mouse over it, you'll get the stretch, add vertex, and convert to arc. Now I'm going to convert to arc because I want to bend this line around just slightly to follow that line. Okay, and it's just a matter of pretty much guessing. And it's hard to see because I probably should have chosen a better colour. But you can see that it's not going to quite fit well. So what I'm going to do is basically click in there. Okay, add. Okay, and you'll find you can add an extra point in it and put it into a position you think it needs to go in, and then maybe, you know, straighten these things up and just tweak your job a little bit. Okay. Again, so I convert to arc. Now I've been calling these nodes because of my design background. Looks like snap into the grid. If you just wait, the line will show up, but it does take a while sometimes. Okay, so just be patient. Again, okay, so by using that particular tool, it will allow you to sort of curve that line around, and again, it's only a path, so it doesn't have to be that accurate, and it's just a way of defining what it is. Now, as you notice, I have been putting the path right down the center line. I've done that for a reason, because later on we might look at converting it so it's actually a double line, and it's a lot easier to get parallel lines if you do that. Basically, you will need to trace all of these right around, and you'll find where you've got a point like this where both of these vectors line up, you can't join in that point, okay? But you can snap it to the node. And again, if I use the snap to tool here and go to draw another polyline, what I can do is click in here, and you can see it will snap to that point, and again click, and it is sort of a little bit of guesswork. And again, so you can see how drawing a simple shape, drawing simple paths, drawing some polylines around these particular objects just lays out this into some sort of layout that represents the particular parts of this oval. Now again, we're just doing it rough because it is an exercise just to get used to the tools. Again, if you'd like to try something really exciting, try that track. So we'll leave it there.